Have you ever noticed this? Everyone argues about boomers. Everyone analyzes Gen Z. Millennials get roasted daily. But there's one generation that almost nobody talks about. They're not loud on social media. They don't overshare their lives. They rarely complain. Yet, somehow, they're always the ones fixing problems quietly in the background. I'm talking about Generation X. Born roughly between the mid-60s and early 80s, Gen X is a generation that learned how to survive before the world learned how to comfort. And honestly, their psychology is one of the most misunderstood on the planet. Let me explain. Gen X grew up in a time when parenting looked very different. Back then, "Are you okay?" wasn't a daily question. Mental health wasn't a trending topic. And supervision? That was optional. A lot of Gen X kids came home to empty houses after school. No phones, no WhatsApp messages, no location sharing, just silence, a fridge, and a set of house keys. So they learned something early. If you're hungry, you make food. If you're bored, you find something to do. If there's a problem, you deal with it. No dramatic announcements. No emotional speeches, just action. That's where their famous independence comes from. Not motivation quotes, not self-help books. Necessity. While today's kids Google answers, Gen X kids had to figure things out. If a bicycle chain came off, you didn't call anyone. You flipped the bike upside down and got your hands dirty. If the TV stopped working, someone smacked the side of it and hoped for the best. That built something powerful inside them. Problem-solving confidence. They don't panic easily because they've been solving small crises since childhood. But here's the interesting part. This independence also taught them something else. Don't rely too much on anyone. Gen X watched their parents promise stability, then go through divorces. They watched adults give decades to companies, then get laid off. They were told, work hard and everything will be fine, while watching the rules change in real time. So their brain adapted. They learned to hope quietly and prepare for disappointment. Psychologists sometimes call this defensive pessimism, expecting problems so you're never fully shocked when they arrive. Organizations like the American Psychological Association have discussed how early unpredictability can shape adult coping styles. Gen X just calls it being realistic. They don't assume life will be smooth. They assume something might go wrong, so they stay ready. That's why they don't flex online. To them, privacy equals safety. They grew up in a world where mistakes disappeared with time, no screenshots, no viral clips, just awkward memories that faded away. So the idea of posting every meal, every emotion, every argument, that doesn't feel fun to them. It feels dangerous. Another fascinating trait, Gen X mastered humor as armor. Notice how many Gen Xers use sarcasm, dry jokes, or irony. That's not random. When you grow up hearing scary news, economic worries, and global threats while adults tell you, don't worry about it, your brain learns to laugh things off. Humor becomes a shield. Joke first. Detach emotionally. Move on. It's not coldness, it's protection. Now let's talk about their work mindset, because this is where Gen X really stands out. They don't announce hustle, they don't romanticize grind culture, they just work. Many of them started earning money young, delivering papers, bagging groceries, working fast food. These weren't passion projects. These were real responsibilities with real consequences. Show up late, you're fired. Mess up, you fix it. So they developed quiet discipline. They don't expect praise for doing their job. They expect results. And here's a powerful psychological twist. Gen X doesn't trust systems. They trust skills. They saw companies collapse. They saw industries change. They saw careers disappear. So instead of depending on loyalty, they invested in competence. They want to be useful, not popular, not trendy, useful. That's why so many Gen Xers are insanely practical. If something breaks, they try to repair it. If something fails, they adapt. If something doesn't make sense, they question it. Which brings us to authority. Gen X respects ability, not titles. If you're good at what you do, they'll follow you. If you're just wearing a fancy badge but don't know your job, they'll mentally check out in 5 seconds. They grew up watching leaders make mistakes, big ones, so they don't automatically trust hierarchy. They trust competence. Here's another quiet pattern most people miss. Gen X is deeply self-reliant, but secretly supportive. They won't ask for help easily, but if you need help, they'll show up without drama. No Instagram stories, no motivational captions. They help, then disappear. That's because many of their friendships were built out of necessity. When parents were busy, friends became family. They learned teamwork organically without calling it networking. And emotionally, Gen X tends to carry a lot silently. They're great in emergencies, calm under pressure, focused during chaos, but they struggle with vulnerability. Asking for support feels uncomfortable, almost like weakness. So they carry things internally. Stress, responsibility, expectations, quietly. Now imagine raising children in today's world after growing up like that. Gen X parents gave their kids what they never had: attention, protection, presence. But sometimes, deep down, they worry. They wonder if too much comfort creates fragility. Because in their worldview, struggle builds strength, and visibility creates vulnerability. Here's the truth. Generation X is not louder than other generations, not softer, not smarter, just different. They grew up between two worlds, 1 foot in analog, 1 foot in digital. They remember boredom, they remember waiting, they remember life before instant answers. They are the bridge generation. And bridges don't get applause, they don't trend, they don't go viral. They just stand there quietly, holding everything together. So if you know someone who rarely posts, works without complaining, jokes under pressure, and handles chaos like it's just another Tuesday, there's a good chance they're Gen X. And maybe the most Gen X thing of all, they don't care if anyone notices. If this made you think of someone, share it with them. And if you enjoy deep dives like this, consider subscribing. Because there's a lot more hidden psychology waiting to be explored.